I never imagined that a simple decision like buying an old object could permanently alter my entire life. I used to believe that horror lived only in stories and legends, not inside silent objects we trustfully place in our homes. But some things are not made to be used, only to be locked away from human curiosity and wandering eyes. The mirror that entered my life did not only reflect my appearance, but revealed a terrifying truth about existence itself. This is not fiction, but a final confession from someone no longer certain they are still hum. I bought the mirror from a crowded flea market on a cloudy morning, unaware I was signing a lifelong nightmare. The mirror was tall and heavy, its wooden frame cracked as if it had witnessed countless tragedies. The seller stared at me strangely, as though he knew a truth he would never dare explain. When I asked about its origin, he only said it came from an abandoned house nobody lived in anymore. Carrying the mirror to my apartment felt exhausting, as if its weight exceeded glass and wood combined. I placed it in my bedroom, directly facing my bed, without understanding how dangerous that choice was. At first, my reflection appeared completely normal, showing nothing suspicious or unsettling at all. I stared at my face for a long time, trying to ignore the feeling that the mirror felt unnaturally deep. When I smiled, my reflection smiled back, yet something in its eyes did not belong to me. I convinced myself I was simply tired, and my imagination was betraying me after a long day. That night, I woke suddenly with the overwhelming sensation that someone was silently watching me. I opened my eyes slowly, and the first thing I saw was the mirror standing there motionless. My reflection was standing upright, even though my body lay frozen in bed. I tried to scream, but my voice vanished as if the room swallowed it whole. The reflection stepped forward, while my body remained paralyzed with pure terror. An unnatural cold spread through the room with every movement it made. I slowly extended my hand, desperately trying to test what I was seeing. My reflection raised its hand seconds before me, as if predicting my actions. When I touched the glass, I felt strange warmth coming from the other side. The sensation felt like touching living skin, not a solid glass surface. I pulled my hand back quickly, my heart pounding uncontrollably inside my chest. The reflection did not retreat, but leaned closer until its face pressed against the glass. Its features slowly began to distort, as if they could no longer maintain my appearance. I saw fear in its eyes, or perhaps it was my own fear staring back. Suddenly, its mouth moved without sound, trying to form forbidden words. Fog formed on the mirror's surface, shaping letters from its breath inside. The words said, "Do not leave me alone." An overwhelming urge to flee seized me, yet my legs refused to move. The mirror trembled slightly, as if something inside desperately wanted out. I turned off the light, hoping everything would disappear into darkness. But the darkness did not protect me. It made its presence stronger and closer. I heard soft knocking from the glass, rhythmic like a beating heart. I tried convincing myself this was a dream, but the pain in my chest was real. My reflection began smiling a smile I had never worn in my life. It was a smile filled with longing, despair, and hunger all at once. I felt the mirror was not merely watching me, but studying me carefully. In that moment, I realized I was no longer alone in the room. There was another entity, trapped behind the glass, waiting patiently. I tried covering the mirror with cloth, but it immediately fell away. It was as if the mirror refused to be hidden or forgotten ever again. I collapsed onto the floor, crying, unable to comprehend what was happening. My reflection sat across from me inside the mirror, copying my posture exactly. It raised a finger to its lips, signaling me to remain silent. True terror washed over me, the kind that freezes the soul before the body. Words slowly appeared again on the glass, forming painfully letter by letter. This time they said, "Soon we will change places." I understood then that buying the mirror had never been a coincidence. I had been chosen for a reason I did not yet understand. That night marked the end of my normal life forever. And it was only the beginning of something far worse than I imagined. The next morning, I woke up feeling the mirror watching me even with my eyes tightly shut. I could not bring myself to look directly at it, as if eye contact gave it more power. While making coffee, I heard a faint voice calling my name from the bedroom. My body froze, because the voice sounded exactly like mine in a horrifying way. I returned slowly to the room, every step feeling closer to an inevitable ending. This time, the reflection was not copying me, but moving with complete independence. It looked at me with eyes full of hope, as if I were its only salvation. Its lips moved, and for the first time, I clearly heard its voice through the glass. It said the mirror was not its prison, but its final gateway to the real world. I tried convincing myself I was hallucinating, but the voice felt terrifyingly real. It told me it had once been human, just like me before the glass chose it. The mirror, it said, always searches for someone similar, weak, and replaceable. Anyone who stares too long thinks they are seeing themselves, but they are being seen. Nausea overwhelmed me as I realized I had been tested from the very beginning. I asked how I could stop what was happening before losing myself completely. It smiled sadly and said time had never been on my side. It explained that the boundary weakens with every moment of fear I feel. Each night, the mirror becomes less solid and more like water. I tried ignoring it all day, but its voice never left my mind. When night fell, my reflection looked more exhausted than I remembered. I noticed the reflection appeared healthier and more alive than I was. Its skin looked clearer, its eyes brighter, as if feeding on my strength. It reached through the glass, and this time its fingertips actually emerged. I screamed and stumbled back as the glass rippled like liquid. It said escaping does not happen all at once, but step by step. I tried breaking the mirror with anything I could find, but nothing worked. Every strike felt as if it bounced back into my own body. Sharp pain filled my chest with every failed attempt. It told me the mirror protected us both until the exchange was complete. I began noticing things disappearing from the apartment without explanation. Old photographs no longer looked like the person I remembered being. The reflection smiled confidently, as if it already knew the ending. Told me people would believe it easily because it looked normal. I, however, would become just another trapped reflection. The air in the room grew heavier with every word it spoke. I tried calling someone, but my phone no longer recognized my fingerprint. Even my devices began denying my identity, as if I were fading. I realized the mirror does not reflect truth, it rewrites it. The reflection leaned closer, its voice growing warmer and more persuasive. It said surrender would be easier and far less painful. Tears streamed down my face, yet even my crying felt meaningless. The mirror began swallowing my shadow before my body. For the first time, I saw its entire hand outside the glass. It was my hand, but it was no longer mine. I understood that time was running out faster than I expected. The mirror was no longer waiting for permission. It was preparing. Every night brought us closer to the final exchange. I heard 2 heartbeats in the room, and one was not mine. I realized staying silent was no longer an option. I had to face the truth or disappear forever. In a final attempt to survive, I returned to the flea market searching for the mysterious seller. The market felt different, as if the place itself refused to remember the mirror. I asked vendor after vendor, but their faces showed no recognition or memory. Eventually, an elderly woman approached me, her sharp eyes hiding ancient fear. She whispered that the mirror was not an object, but a traveling curse. Everyone who owned it disappeared, leaving only a reflection behind. She said the mirror never steals bodies by force, but through patience and persuasion. The weaker you become, the closer your reflection gets to freedom. I asked her how to stop the exchange before it was too late. She stared at me for a long moment and said confrontation was the only way. I returned to my apartment, feeling every step pulling me toward my fate. The mirror stood in the center of the room, as if it had moved itself. My reflection was waiting, its expression calm and terrifyingly confident. It said I was too late, and the glass had grown very weak. I asked what happens to the reflection that gets replaced. It paused, then said they do not die, they are forgotten. They live behind the glass, watching their stolen lives unfold. A fear deeper than death itself consumed me. I realized I was not fighting a monster, but a perfected version of myself. A version without fear, hesitation, or mercy. I clung desperately to my memories, my name, everything proving I was the original. But the mirror began showing memories I did not recognize. A childhood I never lived, a past that was not mine. It said the world does not care about originals, only convincing replacements. The glass softened, as if even the air was turning reflective. There was no longer a clear boundary between us. It asked if I was ready to let go of pain, fear, and weakness. It promised a quiet existence inside, free from choices and loss. Part of me almost believed its offer, but I remembered every experience, even the pain that shaped me. I screamed that I would not disappear silently. The mirror shook violently, angered by my refusal. My reflection changed, revealing its true cruelty for the first time. It said I no longer had a real choice. The glass began pulling me inward despite my resistance. I felt my hands, then my legs, then my chest being dragged. The world behind me started fading away. The last thing I saw was my own face smiling in victory. I realized the truth had come far too late. The mirror was not just a doorway out. It was a doorway for complete replacement. No one heard my screams. My name began fading from memory. My face became nothing but glass. I became the reflection, trapped, aware, and watching. I see my life being lived without me. I knock on the glass every night, waiting for someone to stare too long, just as I once did. Now I exist behind the glass, watching the world through a cold surface that reflects lies. I wear my face, yet I no longer control it or own my voice. My former reflection lives my life with terrifying perfection. It laughs with my friends and speaks my name without hesitation. No one notices the difference because the world rarely looks closely. I try screaming, but no sound passes through the glass. Every night, I knock slowly on the mirror, hoping someone senses something wrong. Sometimes I see fear in the eyes of those who stare too long. Some feel discomfort and walk away, but others stay. The mirror loves those who stay. It whispers gentle thoughts to them, harmless at first. Tells them they are special, different, understood. I watch them lean closer just as I once did. I try to warn them, but all they see is a silent reflection. My former reflection sometimes looks at me and smiles. That smile tells me it has won. I realized the curse would not end with my loss. The mirror always needs a new replacement, and I have become part of its mechanism. Every time someone approaches the glass, I feel the mirror awaken. The surface shines, and the boundary weakens again. I know what will happen and I cannot stop it. All I can do is wait and watch. If you are reading this, know that the story is not over. The mirror is still out there waiting. Waiting for a gaze that lingers too long. Waiting for someone who resembles themselves too closely. That someone might be you. If your reflection ever hesitates, do not ignore it. If you feel it watching you, step away immediately. Do not try speaking to it. And never trust its smile, because it is learning from you, preparing to take your place. I was exactly like you once. I believed I was in control. But the mirror had been watching from the beginning. Now I am the only proof. A reflection trying to warn you, before it is too late. Before you vanish without a trace, and are erased from the world. The mirror never lies, but it never tells the whole truth. If you hear soft knocking at night, do not approach. If you see a hand move before you do, run. Before you see the world from this side,